What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is Wheel Life. My name is Tim. I'm a C5 quadriplegic since 2003. I do videos about living your best life with a spinal cord injury and all my paralyzed shenanigan videos. Today, I'm going to bring on Melissa, who is also a quadriplegic, and we're just going to chat about our lives and, living your best life. So let me bring her on. May take just a minute for a few people to pop in here. Hey, Melissa, how you doing today?
Hi. I do have a question, Tim, while we're on this
Sure.
note. How do you manipulate everything, like work, getting me live and with you?
Um, j- how do I do what? Like, how do I get
As
live?
like with your movements, you have like a tablet that you work off of, or
I'm working off my laptop right now, and I just have like a little mouse touchpad thing,
Mhm.
and then it's like a USB mouse thing with like a 6 or 8 foot cord. That way I can go live or not go live, but on my computer, like if I'm in bed and stuff like that. And I just use my laptop mainly. I
That
love
is
it.
cool.
Yeah. So what's up, chat? This is Melissa. Melissa is a quadriplegic. And Melissa, if you want to go ahead and tell your story, and Mike is yours. And then I'll ask
Okay.
questions along the way. And
All right. So I wasn't involved in a car accident when I was 18. I was drinking and driving. I was the driver, and things did not go as planned. I was just trying to make it back home one night after a series of plans changing. You know how it goes. Well, I did not make it home. One car crash. My truck, which I thank God for. I really think that played a role in saving my life. But I flipped it, and it flipped 8 to 10 times, and no seatbelt, was ejected, and I ended up landing on my head after the crash. And that is what ended up breaking 5 vertebrae. I broke C3, 4, 5,
wow,
6, and 7. So pretty gnarly injury as far as levels and the way everything panned out afterwards. But yeah, that was 18, and it's been 11 years, so I'm coming up on 12 in August. I'm 30 now. Life is definitely different, as you know, and a lot of people know that live with this injury. But like you first stated when you opened up, that it's still possible, right? Like it's different,
right?
but it's still possible.
Definitely. Um, so, um, you had, let's talk about your book if you like. So you had written a book about um, your accident and your new life as a quadriplegic. Do you want to talk about that at all and what inspired you to do that and all that stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So I I've never been a writer. Okay, I've actually never even been a reader, to be honest with you. I used to when I was younger, but teenage life, everything came into play. Reading was not my forte. Well, the injury happened, and not that I was pressed anywhere near right away, but I would say about maybe 7 or 8 years into the injury, I met some new random people, and one of the guys that I became friends with, we would just chat every once in a while. He's not injured or anything like that, able-bodied, but he was like, have you ever considered, putting your story on paper and just writing a book? Like, I think you should. And I was like, yeah, like I've thought about it, but I don't know what to do or how to do it. So I just finished up my bachelor's degree at that point. So time was available to work on other things, and I'm definitely goal oriented. I just have this fire under my butt where I've got to always be working on stuff. I don't know. It's just how I am. So I was like, all right, let me make a goal. I actually contracted a UTI. I got a suprapubic catheter, so those happen. UTI, was stuck in bed. New caregiver also, that was interesting. And I was like, you know what? Let me just start the first page, right? I mean, got to start a page blind, I guess. So I did, and one page led to another. I just used my iPad. I just used Siri. I did verbal dictation. I do have, a little bit of movement that I've gotten back. So I did, a little bit of typing, but I don't have enough strength to do all of that
Right.
typing. So most of it was voice dictation. And it took me about a year and a half, and I got what I wanted, or what I thought, was what I wanted, and I met a guy through the internet, a developmental editor, and he doesn't know me, nothing about my injuries. So I was like, this would be a great, place
Right.
to start. It'll be new to him. So I reached out to him, and he's like, yeah, he's like, we definitely got a book here. Let's do it. So it was about a 6-month process from there, and I decided to self-publish with a company in Arizona that I linked up with online as well. And one thing led to another. Uh, did cost a good chunk of money. I drained my savings account, probably about, I would say, three.
Uh-oh. Hang on, guys. Might have came
I
unconnected.
knew.
All right, you still there?
Sorry.
No, you're all right. Hold on, let me.
Let's see.
May have to hit your. Just coming back through the. Oh wait, maybe you're getting a phone call. Hang on.
Yep.
There you go.
I
You're
definitely
good.
got a phone call.
You're fine.
Sorry. My
No,
phone
you're
rang.
good. That it happens. And if there's any point you have to go, if there's any point you have to go and take a phone call or whatever you got to do, you can do whatever you got to do, and we can reconnect or whatever. But
we're good. Don't worry about
all
it.
right,
I don't even know who it was. It was a random number. So, what was the last thing you heard?
That you had found the editor and it was a good chunk of change and something like $3,000 maybe.
Yeah, $3,000 I
What's up,
spent from
everybody?
A to Z. Getting everything I needed to do because you got to pay for help and to get everything done. So it did cost me about $3,000.
Right.
But to me, I honestly never started to write the book personally for a goal to make money. I don't know, if I'll get to that point where I'll make a profit. I thankfully in the year that it's been out, I have broken even. So that's amazing. I'm so thankful for that. But if I
That's
never
awesome.
make a penny, that's fine. People just need the awareness, right? And the encouragement and just the hope that, this happens, and it's happened to a lot of us.
Right.
But it's possible, right? Possible.
You actually were the one when I saw that you had written a book, and we were friends a little bit before that. And then I clicked on it, I started reading it, and I was like, you know what? You're inspiring me to write my story as well. And I worked on it probably about 6 months or so over the winter, and then like the little bit of the fall. And I kind of put it down for a little bit, and I'm going to pick it up here. And I want to try to finish it and knock it out. And you just kind of get to a point where like, which way do I want to go with it? And like, what do I want to tell about, things like that. But I want to thank you for inspiring me to write my story and tell the world and stuff like that. So I'm going to pop your book link in the chat. If you guys want to check that out.
Thank you.
And
yeah.
No, thank you.
The thing about writing, so what I learned is you literally cannot force it. You can't force it. I was not inspired every day. I was not like, all right, let me hammer this down and write it. Because the more that I tried to do that, the more it wasn't me anymore. Like it wasn't my voice. Like I was saying things or writing things or, it was not as authentic as it could have been. So I just had to stop. I had to take a break. I even went like maybe 4 months at a time without doing anything. Yeah, thoughts would come through my head and I would jot some things down, but the actual pursuit of writing, it definitely took a good amount of time. And there's people, I think that they spend like 10 years writing a book, like that's normal. Like don't beat yourself up for how long it takes.
And when I was reading it, you can tell that that's exactly what I was going to say. It's authentic. It's you. You can tell it's like it's your story. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's you. And that's the cool part about it is it's very relatable in a way to, young teenage life, I guess, in a way, like that we've all been there. We've all done it. You know what I mean? So, and just things happen and it's just the way our cards are written and you just got to do the best you can with what you're given.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think, what makes our different stories so relatable, even to people that are not injured, is the reality is it's any of us. Like, as spinal cord injury does not discriminate. There's not a certain age, a certain gender, a certain race. It's anybody. Anybody is at risk for a spinal cord injury. So when people see that and they can understand it and they realize that, we're like the same people. We just got a little extra parts right now, but there's nothing different from us. So that right there one of the things that makes it super relatable for everybody. And I think everybody has a story. Doesn't mean that everybody necessarily, wants to write their story or put it on paper. But, if you feel that itch inside of you, listen to it. Just do it, right? If it
Hell
goes
yeah.
nowhere, it goes nowhere. But it'll help you. It will.
Everybody in the chat that's new, just watching, this is Melissa. Melissa is also a quad. Since what year did you say? 08?
08, yeah.
Nice. Okay. So if anybody has any questions, just put like a capital Q or something in the chat. That way I can like notice it a little bit better. Can you see the chat at all on your end?
So I don't. I see
Okay.
you. I see a little bit of me, and then I see you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you.
Okay, that's all right. I can pop them up here. I'm sure you always forget to write something, then you remember it later. Yeah. Did you have that happen at all? Like that you had a point? I bet.
That's another reason why it took so long, because I would forget stuff, like I was like, wait, what did I really feel at that time? Or what was I thinking? Like, what was going through my mind? So for me, I actually, a good chunk of my writing, not a lot, but a good chunk, I had 2 caregivers at the time, and I'd never taken a trip with just caregivers. Like, it was always, mom and dad or different family members. But I was like, hey, like, I got a question. And like, these 2 caregivers were friends. That's how, they both started working with me. But I was like, you guys want to go somewhere? Like, if I save up and I like rent a hotel somewhere we've never been, would you go with me for a week? And like, I know you got to help me with bowel care. We've never done that before, but I'll tell you what we got to do, the whole 9 yards. And they were like, yeah, like, we'll go. So
that's awesome.
we did. They were doing their thing. I would leave. I just go, pounding the pavement, just going for cruises, getting away by myself. Had my iPhone on my armrest, and there it went. Just talk to text. And that was like probably about 25-30% of the book, but it was good to just disconnect and get away from my normal and just go somewhere completely unfamiliar.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Especially cool that your friends helped you too. Do you have any suggestions?
Caregivers, right?
You're right. Do you have any suggestions for traveling with caregivers?
Oh, so I don't even know what to say. There's so many details when it comes to traveling, but I used to overpack, like, like I would be like, oh, this could happen. But now that it's been this
always overpack,
I know what to expect, kind of. So I always pack, because with the suprapubic catheter, I've got leg bags and Foley bags. I use leg bag during the day, Foley at night. And then I learned to pack always an extra one, because there was a time that I took a trip with a cousin, and, we were gone hours and hours away from my house. Like, it was a 9-hour trip on the road. And so one of my Foley bags, like my nighttime bag, it just had like a hole in it or something. Like, it just wasn't made right. So we woke up in the cabin with pee on the floor, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have another bag. So everything has been learned from trial and error. And I would just say, when you travel, keep an open mind. Stuff probably will go wrong. It just does. And stuff will probably break, especially if you do planes. I've had 9 times out of 10 when I'm on a plane ride, they do damage to my wheelchair. And it's just like a given. Like, it's going to happen. If it's not, a mechanical issue, it'll be cosmetic. So something usually happens, but I don't think you should let that stop you from getting out and doing something if you want to do it.
The first time I went to the Dominican Republic, I got there and my chair was in pieces, and I had to take and the second, like, it was in pieces, like I was on the tarmac and just sitting there trying to explain how to put my chair back together. And so when the second time I went over, I actually put signs on my chair in Spanish so they could actually like do it right. So
where did you say you went?
I went to the Dominican Republic in like 2011 and then 12. And the first time I went down, it was like ridiculous. Like, I got off the plane and my chair was in pieces. It sucked.
Geez, so what'd you do? Like, what'd you do when you were there?
I just sat out on a tarmac and I tried to explain the best I could in Spanish about how to. Hi, puppy. About how to. What's your puppy's name?
This is little Tucker.
Hi,
My
Tucker.
brothers actually call him something else that rhymes with it, but it's a different first letter, you know?
You're right. That's funny. Brothers.
They're horrible.
So getting some questions here, or if the chat has any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. So have you found any new hobbies or interests after your accident?
Yeah, so like I said, or
I
maybe
knew
I
what you
said,
did
I
before.
don't know, but I'm definitely physically driven, right? Like, I'm not the type that I personally, this is just me, everybody's different. I don't watch TV. I don't know anything that's on TV. It's not my thing. I
That's
don't
all.
like it. Like, I don't watch it. And so it's like, well, dang, that, like, a lot of people watch TV. Doesn't injury, no injury. A lot of people do. So, like, okay, what do I do instead? How can my life be, enjoyable and whatever? So my family's super outdoors. Okay. We used to ride dirt bikes. My dad, used to have a Wrangler Jeep, and we would go, climbing up in the mountains in North Carolina, all that stuff. And I just
Nice.
love to be outside. So I still do a lot of stuff outside. I go fishing with some family every once in a while. Not too often because it hurts my butt. I don't like sitting in one spot for so long and
Right.
all those things. But I picked up painting. Painting I love to do. I do a couple paintings here and there.
Awesome.
One of my outdoor activities that we're working on is my dog before this one was actually picked up by a coyote, and that really, it hurt, but it, like, more so made me mad that I was like, you know what, I need to start shooting. Like, so I saved up some money and I ended up going to Bass Pro Shops and I bought a crossbow. And I have a friend who she's a quad too, and she shoots, and she ties a shoelace to the trigger, bites the shoelace, pulls it, and shoots. And so I was like, I gotta wipe coyotes off the map. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I've only been target practicing so far, but yeah, I love to do stuff outside, and physical therapy is a big hobby for me. I love it. It just makes me feel good, and I do that every day for like 3 to 5 hours if I've got a caregiver that's able to help me with that. And I'm probably going to go back to school here shortly, start the master's degree. We got to see if I, get accepted into a program. So
nice. Can you read the chat when I bring them up on the screen at all? Can you read that?
Yes.
How old were you? Okay, cool. How old were you when you had your accident?
Yeah, I can see it. From
Okay.
Kiara,
yeah. How old were you when you had your accident, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I was 18. I was fresh out of high school. I was actually 1 week before college. I was registered, ready to go, but everything changed. So I did not start college like planned, and I woke up in the Shepherd Center in Atlanta, Georgia. I was in a coma for 10 days.
That's a good hospital. Joe says shooting is a great time. Can't wait to hit the range again. Yeah,
so
trigger. There's.
Sorry.
What's that?
I've been to a range before with my dad, and this is kind of funny. I don't know if anybody else has had this happen to them, but my dad put the ear muffs on me, whatever you call them, to the silence cancelers or the noise cancelers, and so he didn't get it fully on my ear. I didn't realize it. Okay, and so we're driving in, we're going to our little spot, and someone's shooting, and this loud gun goes off, and it scared the living mess out of me. I drive with a little T-bar joystick. So my hand was on, and all of a sudden I swerved and crashed into the wall because it scared the mess out of me. Yep. My arms always jump when I get scared. I can't help it.
No, the same with me. Like ever since, like even before, like I was never jumpy about like sounds like that. But now if I'm not expecting a sound, it'll jerk me a little bit. Like I can't help it. It's weird.
Same here. It makes my arms jump, and also this is maybe just a nerve thing. I don't have feeling below my collarbones, so my knees, if I get scared, my knees will feel like they're burning if someone scares me or something.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Sarah says a master's in what at school? Sorry if she missed that part.
So,
all right, hang on, guys.
Phone call coming through.
You're okay.
back?
I don't see you just yet.
Maybe it'll load. Why is it black? I don't know. Can
Try
you
to
hear
bring you
me?
back. I can hear you okay. I just don't see you. You may have to pop the camera back on if you can. There
How
should
do
be
I do
like a
that?
little,
I'm on the bar.
there's like a little camera button at the bottom, or should be.
Oh,
It'll say like camera.
See the ball at the top right?
It
Yes,
might say stop camera.
Okay, and then the little camera, I think that's it. Oh no. Hold
You're
on.
fine.
You gotta click right below it. I think you click those little squares.
Should say like stop cam or start cam, something like that.
Go lower because your finger's sitting right above it. Maybe turn the phone straight up so you can hit it better. No, you keep hitting that thing. Hold on, Tim. Sorry.
You're fine. You're okay.
Camera symbol down at the bottom. Video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It did something. Now hit stop cam again. Huh.
All right. All right. Try video again.
Bear with us, guys.
Hit cam/mic maybe. Whoa. Hit camera. Front camera. Why is it black?
Or
It
if
says
you want,
you're having issues trying to use the device.
do you want to go out and come back in with the link?
I'm sorry. What was that?
Do you want to go out and come back in with the link?
Yeah. So if I click leave and then I click the link, I'll be good.
Yeah, you should be able to come right back in.
All right. Let me try it. I'll be back.
Yep. Sorry about that, guys. Beauty of live TV, whatever this is. Hey, kiddo. Recently appreciated your attitude toward disability, Melissa. Yeah, Melissa's awesome. Just bear with us, guys. She's coming back. If I get scared, it feels like, yes, your whole body gets shocked. No, I'll never find out. No, she'll be back. So it happens when you get phone calls and when you're on your iPad and stuff like that. It happens. I got a conclusion from my hockey. Oh, concussion. The anxiety. Yeah, it's weird how things like that can shake you up. I missed the camping comment. All right, here she is. Give her a second to get. Are you cool? Awesome. I can see you.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. No apologies needed.
That's why I wanted to use my iPad because I was scared of this happening.
No, that's okay. So Sarah was asking what masters you were
Gonna
Go.
pursue.
Yes.
So I did the bachelor's in human communication, which was just a speaking degree. I do a lot of public speaking, and I took 5 years off. That was back in 2015, and now I'm going to be applying for a master's in nonprofit management. So I'm trying to get into the nonprofit work, help as many people with spinal cord injuries as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so that's
cool.
it. We'll see if they accept me. I don't know.
Right, Mitch? We lost the better half. Nobody wants to see this side.
No.
Tell Melissa she reminds me. Oh, Melissa Jones said you remind her of that fight song. That's awesome.
Oh, I love that song by is it by Rachel?
I think so. Platin or something like that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you. That's
I
super
totally
sweet.
get that. Hit the thumbs up, guys. What's that? I just read the reviews for your book, Melissa, and ordered. That's awesome.
Yay.
Thanks, Kelly.
Listen, I would love to hear your feedback. If it's horrible, if it's insightful, constructive criticism, I love it. I would love to hear anything if you decide to read it.
Let me pop the link up here again. And if anybody like Kira or Sarah or anybody in the chat that are mods, if you can grab that link, that way you just pop it up randomly here and there. That's awesome. Fingers crossed. Oh yeah, fingers crossed for you. So I also wanted to get into speaking around our schools about just safe driving and stuff like that, and just, living your kids living their best life and being safe in their choices and stuff. How did you get into that? Like, did you call the schools and or call around or kind of thing?
Yes. So the honest answer is schools, especially public schools, are the hardest to get into. I have done a ton of independent outreach, like you just mentioned, reaching out to them. And let's say I will reach out to 50 schools. I might hear back from 4 or 5 of them, because what I've noticed, and I don't know if this is true, but obviously I think credibility, or I know credibility has a lot to do with it. Us just, popping in their emails or in their
Right.
phone talking to us, like, oh, I don't know you. Like, what do you have to like back you up? They're not just going to let anybody come and speak to their kids. So that has been really hard. But also, it's not just that. It's also that the public schools have like so much stuff, like with all this testing, and they got to have so many hours of English and all these different things, like, that they don't necessarily want to stop all of it and get an assembly going.
Right.
So that's been a
Like,
hard issue too. But for me, I think what made it a little bit easier with the foot in the door was I also partnered with Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And, they're well known years. They have a name.
yeah,
They are, less and less people with, lack of funding. But for the people that there are, they do get in easier for drinking and driving. And, since that's what caused my injury, I have had that little ticket for a good amount of schools. But again, as the years go on, it's just getting harder and harder.
nice. Yeah, it makes sense.
But don't let that defeat you, Tim, or anybody. Like I said, we've all got a story. And if you got to blow people's emails up because you got a message to share and there are people to help, you need to do it. Do it. I'll
Right.
even help you out. Give me a phone call. I'll give you whatever stuff, little copy and paste of things that I maybe have had luck with. But we've got to do it. There's too many people to help. Too many.
Yeah, you got that right. So what is your, like, take us through like a day in Melissa's shoes or wheels? Like how your day goes, like.
All right. So 4 days a week I do bowel care. Lady comes in. It's either at 6 a.m. or 6:30. There's different days for different stuff. So
Right.
my day starts super early. I'm definitely a morning person. As soon as the sun is up, my eyes are like, bing, let's go. Like, I love it. I love the morning. And so she comes in, and then we do all that good stuff. The enemies, I love the enemies. Super quick, no issues. Go to the
Yep.
bathroom with those. Then at 7 or 7:30, again, depending on the day, Caregiver shows up. And they are the hands and feet and the help for the 9 hours of care that I get. And it's, it varies. Some days like I said, I always try to do some kind of working out, whether it's, with electrical stimulation or, standing, weight bearing in the wheelchair. This power chair does stand. So some of that, or
That's awesome.
I bought from Amazon. Yeah, I love it. I bought from Amazon like 2-pound wrist weights that Velcro on my wrist. They're like $12, super cheap. I bought those, so I'll crank out some workouts. I also
Nice.
got a PVC pipe from Home Depot, I think, just a hardware store. I got a PVC pipe for $5, so I'll use gloves to hold on to it with no fingers, and I'll do bicep curls, or someone will hold on to it, and I'll do pullbacks or pull downs or anything I can to get those muscles going. And so there's always a workout in the day of something. And then,
Nice.
like I said, I do painting every once in a while, painting, and I do speaking engagements. Caregivers will drive me to different places to speak somewhere, or if, I've got some physical therapy hours that I can use from insurance, I'll go to different physical therapies. I'm actually
That's
looking
cool.
for one right now. So, I mean, it's a lot of it is just moving my body, honestly. It's almost like my caregivers, they do all the ADLs, they get me ready, good to go. And then a lot of the help is spent just trying to fight the complications that come with these high-level injuries.
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought of a question, but I forgot. Yeah, you got to keep that blood pumping as much as you can.
Yeah, for sure, because you know how it goes. Like, we're already high risk for the blood clots, the osteoporosis, the muscle atrophy, the respiratory ailments, the urinary infections, like you name it. It's not like a lot of people just think that, oh yeah, they're just sitting. It's like, no, this is a little bit more than sitting. Like
Right.
there's so many things that can go wrong. And I had so many hospital trips in the beginning that I just got sick of it. I couldn't take it anymore. And the medicines were just, bogging me down. So I weaned off of all the medicines and I just replaced all of it, which is working out.
How are your muscle spasms? Are they pretty wicked sometimes?
Yeah, they get gnarly, definitely gnarly. But so I've learned over the years, I have an occupational therapist. If anybody on here is spinal cord injured, I highly recommend. Medicare covers 80% of the cost if you're Medicare. And I go to International Center for Spinal Cord Injuries, located in Baltimore. And there are so many amazing therapists up there that know our injury in and through. Okay, so I met one of them, and she basically told me, because I hated my muscle spasms in the beginning and I would complain about it and stuff. And she was like, Melissa, you have the opportunity to make them work for you, right? Like learn how to manipulate and control them. However that may be, to figure it out. So I was like, all right, like, let me try. So I tried and it wasn't really successful. But then I started to keep doing it and I realized, okay, in a power chair, if I extend my foot plate all the way up and I kind of arch back a little bit and I take a deep breath, I completely lock out my legs, my butt jumps up, my back goes back, like it creates this huge spasm. So I do that like probably every hour. I do it and it feels good. It hurts at first, but then I feel better afterwards just from, I guess, the movement. So they do get pretty bad, but all of my movement throughout the day has really helped me figure them out and, get them under control so I don't have to be on medicine or anything.
Right. Like that. That's cool. Yeah, you can definitely use them. Go ahead.
No, it's different for everybody, though. I don't want someone to hear that and be like, oh, well, that's not my case. Like, dude, I get it. Like,
yeah, we're all totally different.
I've been doing this from the beginning, so I think that's what's really helped me is I met that therapist like 8 months after the injury. So it was brand new. It was fresh. I had the opportunity to just go right into it.
Yeah, you can definitely use them to do a little like pressure relief, definitely. Especially like when I'm in bed, like if I have a spasm in my foot moves in the wrong position, I can use a spasm to kind of pull it back up kind of way. So that's kind of nice at least.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You just gotta get that. You just gotta get it right because like I do take medication for them, but like when the meds start to wear off is when I can actually use them to my benefit.
Yeah.
What was your? Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, what was your first experience with AD, autonomic dysreflexia? Do you remember that? Like.
Oh my gosh, AD is a book in itself. Like there is just, oh my gosh, there is so many crazy experiences. I used to get a lot of AD mainly from my catheter getting clogged. I cannot tell you how many times my suprapubic got clogged, urine would stop draining, I'd go dysreflexic. I was newly injured. It took me about 2 years really to figure out like that every time I felt that certain kind of dysreflexia, it was always bladder related. And so I also had a very small catheter though, like Shepherd Center put a size 10 French in, and that's tiny.
Right.
10. So my urologist, he was like, we need to up that in size, like you'll have better flow. So now I'm at a 16 French and it seems to be pretty good. And I learned also that if I drink a hell of water, like I'm talking minimum 8 water bottles a day, if not 12, then the urine's constantly flowing. Sediment doesn't have time to build up and blockage just doesn't happen.
That's good.
But that means, I know a lot of people hate water though. They hate it. I used to also. But then I was like, I kind of hate the hospital a little bit more. So I started to drink so much water. And with the suprapubic, we have that luxury to drink as much as we want, not having to worry about cathing.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was actually I actually have a procedure set up to have a colostomy bag put in because after 17, almost 18 years of doing this, I'm just like tired of the pain, tired of the invasiveness of it. So sorry about that, guys. So hopefully everything goes all right with that. I've heard, I've talked to other quads as well that had the colostomy bag done, and so I'm definitely going to go that route. I didn't mean to switch it up there, but it just was on my mind at the time, and I figured I might as well talk about it. Yeah. So because after all this COVID stuff happened, it kept getting pushed back and back and back. So finally, everything's getting opened up again. So on June 19th, the day after my birthday, I'm having a colostomy done. So I'm kind of excited about that. It'll open up so much more time and so much less, because like I'm having like issues like when I go, I'm not always done going, and so like I'll have an accident like an hour after I'm already dressed and up, and my helper leaves, and then I have to call him back and all that good stuff. So
Oh yeah, that is definitely not a good time. So for me now, I know every injury is different again, but so what has worked for me though, with the enemies like about is I used to only do digital simulation. Okay, like I never did magic bullets, none of that stuff. I only did
right,
I did bowel care every day of the week at 6 a.m. with digital simulation. Up until 8 years after being injured, I just couldn't take it anymore. The dysreflexia was out of control. It was horrible having that going on every single day. And not that I didn't have accidents, but I went to the gastro doctor and he was like, yeah, like you're definitely aggravated in there. Like you need to cut back. And so that's
right,
when I stopped going 7 days a week. I dropped down to 3 or 4, and then I introduced the enemies, and they just worked amazing. And my bowel care nurse, she always does digital simulation at the very end just to make sure that nothing is going on. I don't know if you do that, but
yeah.
I haven't had any accidents, but I know, well, I don't know this, but I know that they always say that diet helps. So I don't know if
Yep.
like stuff aggravates you inside and it just decides to, hey, let me come out later. I don't know.
Since I started introducing more fiber diet, like it's definitely helping a lot. So definitely, diet definitely helps. Did you know what enemies were before you saw my video, or
Yes.
did you? All right, cool. That's funny that you were
Yes.
like, I showed my mom your video.
Yes, I showed mom and dad the enemies video. I was like, Mom, check out this infomercial. It's gonna go big.
That's
They
awesome.
loved it. I loved it too. Keep on going, dude.
Yeah. Any places you've traveled recently that you want to go to again, or any favorite travel destinations?
Since the injury, I have not been out of the country, but as far as like different states and stuff like that, I spoke at a university in Oregon, and I don't know if anybody here's from Oregon or if they've ever been,
Nice.
but it was beautiful. Like I don't know what made it exactly so beautiful, but the landscape and all the trees and just the green, like maybe because there's so much precipitation that they're well fed, but the nature was breathtaking.
Oregon is
Breathtaking.
beautiful.
Yeah, you been?
No, I've never been there, but I've seen videos and pictures, and it's like a rainforest in itself. It's awesome.
It's a bucket list. If you haven't been, maybe sometime it'll happen. I don't know how it's definitely a lot of details with us getting out and doing those things, but
Uh,
everything was accessible, no issues.
Sharma was wondering if there's any other countries you visited even before your accident.
Oh, before. Yes. So I have family in Ireland. I'm a lot of Irish inside of me. So I
Nice.
went to Ireland, met all the family. This is kind of funny. I ever thought one of my cousins was cute, but I didn't know we were related at the time. So thankfully that didn't go anywhere because can't date our cousins. Some people do, but I did not. But it was a good time. And I went to England on a different trip in high school with some student friends. They did like some little tour type thing. England and France we went to. And then I've also done a couple cruises, and the cruises, I've done the Caribbean, Eastern and
Nice.
Western. Mexico, definitely got to go to Mexico. I want to go there on a separate trip. I got to save up some money, and thankfully things are cheaper over there. So take a trip to Mexico, a safe area, and oh my gosh, Mexican food is my jam. Absolutely.
Awesome. Are there any different adaptive tools you use other than like say your chair? Adaptive tools to help you like go throughout your day and like
So
anything
actually,
like
I'm
kind of like your
not a good
hand grips
quad.
and things like that?
Yeah, I
Say
just
it again.
use. I said I'm not a really good quad for giving advice on adaptive stuff. I don't have a lot.
Me
I
neither.
uh, I use a brace, like a little wrist brace, to. That's how I feed myself, like a fork
Gang.
and a little
Nice.
wrist brace. I use a wrist brace to feed myself and brush my teeth, and I paint with that same brace. That stuff gives me independence in those areas. I
Awesome.
also I have a water bottle. It's not here with me. I just realized it's in my room. But I've got a cup on the water bottle, and it's like a U-shaped cup. So I just slide my wrist into it, and I'm able to drink by myself. And
Nice.
it's by a brand called U, like the letter U, and then Adapt. And it wasn't expensive at all. And my dad, because we're super like inventive, creative, try to do anything we can without buying medical stuff because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So we just bought unbelievable. We bought a cheap little plastic car cup holder, and my dad just made like a bracket, screwed it into my armrest, and now I have a
Awesome.
cup holder that I keep there, and I put the water bottle right there on this left side, and that's how I'm able to drink. So those two things. What else?
Yeah, you got to be inventive living like with a disability.
You have to, otherwise you can't afford stuff like some people can, but the reality is most of us can't.
So what cushion do you use? I just recently got the Roho, and I freaking love it. I wish I would have done that years ago.
What were you on before that?
A Franken cushion that I put together with a bunch of different foam pieces.
Really?
It
Invented
was
your own
probably
cushions.
No, it was probably one of the dumbest things I've ever done. It got me like an hour worth of like sitting comfortably, and then after that, I would hurt so bad. And now since I have the Roho, I can go like maybe 4, 5, 6 hours, and I'm all right.
What did you ever have a pressure sore or any complications from that
Um,
invented cushion?
no, I didn't luckily, but I still had pain. But I can feel like to my toes, so I can my butt. It like lets me know when enough is enough. But I did have a pressure sore on my tailbone from being in the hospital before they could roll me and all that good stuff. So I did fight with that for the year after I was injured. But since then, I've been all right. How about yourself?
So I was initially on a Roho for the first 5 years, and the only reason why I stopped, I had no issues with it, other than when I went up to Baltimore to my physical therapist up there. She told me that like I wasn't sitting right. And I know they got like the Roho Quattros and all the different
Right.
ones where you can adjust and stuff. But she decided to pressure map me on a bunch of different cushions. So they put this little square thing, a flat little
Yeah.
thin thing on the cushion. I sit on it, and it shows like a thermal image of where the most pressure is. So I sat on that on like 5 or 6 different cushions, and I actually, between the most pressure and then the better hip stability and things like that, she wanted me on a J2 deep contour, and I know I've heard a lot of people say bad things about the J2s. I have a buddy that had a gnarly pressure sore from one, but I've been on it since 2013, and I've never had a pressure sore, but I do a
Good.
lot of muscle spasms, like I told you, and I'm always shifting the weight my own way, and maybe that's what's helped. But this seat cushion works good for keeping my hips right where they need to be, and not having any seating issues throughout the day.
Awesome.
Yeah. But again, it's tailored to everybody. It's just so different for all of us.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Even though our injuries are like similar in a way, our bodies are different, and same with our butts. We're like our butts are completely different too. So it's not like one cushion works for the next person.
Yeah, and also speaking of the butt thing, well, one thing that's really helped me with no pressure sores is I do electrical stimulation on my butt, my glutes, as often as I can. Like some days or whenever I can make it happen, just with a portable stimulation unit. My caregivers, I just train them. Everything is just verbal training, and I pull pictures up online, stuff like that. And I just, teach them to slap them on my butt anywhere you can get them. So they're not touching. You want to keep them far apart. And then we crank it up. I get a contraction. Sometimes we'll see my knees even start to like twerk from like the movement. It's so funny. But it has definitely gotten me a butt. So if you need a butt, if you just got bones, I'm telling you, portable electrical stimulation will.
So that's like the TENS unit? The TENS unit?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
It is. It's similar to a TENS unit, but the TENS units are more for pain. So they're a little bit more expensive than a TENS unit. The one I have discontinued. I can't even give you that reference because they don't make it anymore. But you want one with neuromuscular education. So as long as it's neuromuscular, I think there's one actually by a company called Neurotech. They definitely have what we need for spinal cord injuries.
Nice. I didn't realize you could even do that. That's cool. Might have to try that. How many caregivers do you typically have at any given time?
Like as far as like how many like rotate from helping me, because I have one a day, and I do it.
I think she froze. Can you hear me? All right, she might be coming back in. If you can hear me, go out and come back in.
Can you?
I can hear you now. Your questions are cursed there.
Sorry, I just.
Yes. No, you're fine. If you need to come,
so my
go out.
internet just cut out.
No, you're good. I can see you now. You're cool.
Good?
Yep.
Yeah, my internet just cut out, so I don't know what exactly happened.
Sarah said she's going to quit asking questions because her questions are cursed. Every time she asks a question, you get cut off. That's funny.
Please don't. You're not a cursing. You're a blessing. Let me just re-answer that question. I have one caregiver a day. It's a 9-hour shift. I live with mom and dad, so they throw me in bed, get me ready for bed, do all that good stuff.
That's awesome.
They like to choke me sometimes if I wake them up. Sometimes it happens. I'm like, guys, I'm so hot, or I need a little bit of help. So thankfully it doesn't happen too often, but mom and dad have not given up on me yet. And my caregivers right now, I have 2. Usually I try to have 3 or 4 because life happens, right? They call out, they can't show up, stuff, you know.
Yep.
So I try to have 3 or 4 to have a good rotation of quality help.
Yeah, and the burnout is real. People get burnt out quick, man.
Oh yeah. That is one thing we learn after the injury is the balancing, right? Like, because we've got so many things that like we want to do, or like we want a certain way, or whatever it is, and then you're like, oh, if I have this many requests, I'm not gonna have help. So
right.
So we just, we got to figure it
out. So do you drive yourself? I don't myself. I want to start that process to start driving again. I want to feel that freedom.
Yeah. You said you are driving, or you're going to?
I want to start that process. Yeah, I want to get back into the driver's seat again.
Yes. So I'm working on that. I linked up with vocational rehab, and vocational rehab, they are the ones, that paid for my college degree, the bachelor's degree, and everybody should get involved in their voc rehab in their state if they're able to, because they are willing to help people with disabilities, get back out there. So I did the whole college thing, and they actually gave me extra hours of care on the school days. So instead of a 9-hour day, I'd have a 12-hour day. So I had the opportunity to drive an hour each direction to a university and then take the courses and still have time for all my ADLs, that we have to have time for. And they also, once I finish college, the goal is to get back to work. So the next step would be, okay, well, I got to be able to get to work, right? So I need a car. And I'm not going to necessarily have a caregiver to take me to work because that defeats,
Right.
what I
Yep.
mean. So they actually, as long as I could get a vehicle, they paid to fully modify it. And they are
Awesome.
particular about it being a newer vehicle because they're not going to dump the money into a vehicle that could possibly
Right.
have a lot of issues. So I had to
Yeah.
hold on, and I did end up getting. So I've got this hair on my face. Okay, I ended up getting a Honda Odyssey minivan,
Nice.
and yeah, it was amazing. And then it had to get stripped out to make it, handicap accessible for the wheelchair. They took out the driver's seat, and my chair just locks into the floor, and so I never get out of the wheelchair. I don't have the ability to transfer.
Right. Same here.
Yeah. So chair locks into the floor. Let me back up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it actually. My phone might be too high. Can you see my joystick? No.
Just barely. I can see your hand.
Just
So
barely.
do you have the goalpost joystick, like a goalpost?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That's what I got.
And so what I was trying to show you is there's a button on the side of my left armrest that I push. If you can hear that noise.
Yep.
Yeah. So that movement or that noise moves my joystick out of the way. So it
Nice.
swings the whole module because I don't have the arm movement to swing it myself.
Right.
So that got installed on my chair. And so that goes away so I can pull up to the car joystick. And I literally drive the joystick, same field goalpost, exactly. Gas, brake, steering is exactly, not exactly, I'm sorry. Gas is forward, brake is back. Yeah, so I guess it is the same. Yeah, it's the same.
Sweet. That sounds cool. Like a video game.
Super sensitive, okay? So I don't go over 44 miles per hour, and I'm still not even done training. I've only gone 44 miles per hour once.
Really?
Can't get there. Not yet. I'm not ready.
Well, that's awesome, though. How many caregivers have I had? Probably 75,000, give or take. No, it's what it feels like, doesn't it?
Yes. Mom, I hope you heard that. He said about 75,000 caregivers. My mom tries to make me feel like I'm the problem.
No, that's what it feels like, man. They come and they go. Some are horrible. Some are like amazing, and you wish you could keep them forever. But life happens, and
oh no, it froze. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's catching back up.
My wife.
Sorry, I had a muscle spasm. How old are you, Melissa, now?
I'm the dirty 30.
Nice.
1 month deep into my 30s. It's going to be a good time, you guys. I love birthdays, not because I necessarily like celebrating them. I don't go all out, but I love getting older. Like, I love that, I'm still alive, and I look forward to every decade. 30, 40, 50. I want all of it because you get wiser, you get stuff changes inside of you, and you just learn to appreciate life a little bit differently. So the 20s were awesome. I had a good time. But I just got a feeling the 30s are going to be where it's at for me. I don't know.
Nice. Kira says you're very sweet. Says you're very pretty, and Kira says you look beautiful. You guys look so young. Well, thank you.
How old are you, Tim?
I will be 36 next month.
Nice.
And I feel it. I'm just kidding.
That's what my buddy said. My buddy just turned 32, and he's like, "Man, stuff is so different. I'm waking up with all this back pain." And
yep.
It happens.
So do you use like a Hoyer lift or anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Definitely saves on the back.
Oh yeah. This is kind of an interesting story. My best friend from high school, her mom has always worked, with elderly people. And while I was in the Shepherd Center for a couple months, one of her clients passed away. Okay, so she was a quad. She was definitely a quad. So her family they had no more need for this stuff, right? And by the stuff, I mean the van, the Hoyer lift, even her wheelchair, and just a bunch of different random supplies. And for like a steal of a price, literally a godsend, My parents were able to get that stuff from them from an estate sale, and I've been using that Hoyer lift ever since.
That's awesome.
Without the caregivers, and then mom and dad, they just pick me up and throw me in bed. Sometimes my dad will hang me upside down and spin me around and swing me onto the mattress, and it's always a good time. But I'm 100 and something pounds, so it's not too bad for him.
Thank God for mom and dad, right?
Dude, I don't want to know if I really don't want to know. And there's a lot of people that
Same
don't
here.
have that.
Hey, Morgan. Everybody that's new tuning in, this is Melissa. Melissa's also a quadriplegic. We're just talking about how we live our best life with a spinal cord injury. If anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. If any time you need to go, you're more than welcome. We're just kind of hanging out. So where do you see yourself in like the next 5 to 10 years? I know it's kind of a weird question, but hey.
No, that's not weird. My dream is
Not a weird question, but
I want to live in an RV, a handicap accessible RV.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
To be where I park it. Home is where I park it. I want to go. I want to hit the road. I want to go and travel, just meet random people. I want to go to every coffee shop. I love to get a coffee. And what I love most about coffee shops is just the environment. And I love, so this is just a thing I love, but I love when I'm in the coffee shop and I see someone ordering 2 drinks, but it's just them there alone. And I want to be like, are you in love? Like, who is that coffee for? Can you tell me everything? Like, I just want to know because I think it's so cute. So I want to go to every coffee shop. I want to drop off books at random places. I want to meet people, like I said, and just speak to as many places as possible. That's
cool.
I don't know if
that would be awesome. I love the smell of coffee shops. Myself, I'm not a coffee drinker. I know you can hang up now if you want to, but I've never been to Starbucks or anything like that, but I love the smell of coffee.
I don't go to Starbucks though. I don't go to any of the commercialized coffee
places. Nice.
I'm all about the hole in the wall, support local, right?
Right. Hell yeah. Hey, Saucy Senoritas.
So I'm curious,
let me pop.
I got a question for you.
Say it again.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
How did all of this get started for you? Like these friends that you got popping up, like how'd you guys link up and meet and make all this happen?
I don't know. Like I just the whole COVID thing, and like that's just sitting here and just YouTube is like accessible to everybody, and I just thought it'd be kind of cool to like meet other quads like face in a way. Just chat about our lives. Like I've had my channel for like a year now, and being that it's hard to get out and go film things in different places, I just thought why not bring it to start interviewing people and just talking about life. And 1 second, I got to pull away from my computer a little bit. So yeah, that kind of is the way it all started. And I love doing this like StreamYard thing to where you can pop the comments up on the screen. And
yeah, this is just like, I would have never guessed that you've only started doing this since COVID, because like you seem like a natural, like a professional, you got all this figured out.
I'd say far from that, but thank you. Here is Melissa's book link. I want to pop that up again. If anybody's interested. What's your book? The title? Hope, Love, and
Me.
Me. Yep.
Hope, Love, and Me. Yes.
How did you come up with that title? Just the way what it says?
So it's actually it's my name on Instagram. So I got it from there, but how it started on Instagram, I don't know, maybe someone can relate to this story, but I had a caregiver for like 2 years at this time. This was like back in when Instagram was starting, like 2013, I think was when I started getting onto it. But I had this Instagram name, and she followed me on there and stuff. And we had a nasty leave. Like she just left, like, and it wasn't like there was no like bad words, nothing like that. But she just kind of did us dirty. And I was like, I don't want to be in contact with her. So I was like, I'm blocking her. I'm changing my name. I was on a drive with my mom. Like, what can I make my Instagram name? Because it was something like XOXO121 or something like that.
Right.
And I just sat there and thought to myself, I was like, okay, I love hope. I love to talk about that. I definitely love love. Like, I love it. Then there's me. There's a little bit of me. So I was like, let me just make it. Let's see if it's taken. It wasn't taken. It went through. So that became my Instagram name. And then as I started to write a book, I was like, you know what? That's going to be what I title my book.
That's cool. I love that.
Yeah. One crazy thing led to another.
So yeah, if anybody wants to check her book out, I recommend it. Definitely. I haven't read it all only because I kind of didn't want it to steer me in any sort of direction. So once I finished mine, I'm going to finish reading yours. So,
that's actually a good point. And that's one thing that I actually really, because I thought about reading, other memoirs before I got started. But then I read one. I think it's called It's Not Yet Dark, by a man in, I think, Ireland, who ended up losing his life from ALS. I did read that one, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to read any other stories because it's gonna, like, I don't want to mimic them. I don't want to copy. I want it to be completely me. So, but that's what helped me. So I just say, like I said, be authentic and keep my voice as myself. Let me just go right in and just try.
Exactly. So a buddy in Canada asks, if you see a spider on the ground, do you try to run it over or do you let it live?
It's kind of fun to crush insects sometimes. I mean, so when I was first injured, I was going through this gnarly phase, right? Like, I was angry. I had a lot of anger, a ton of anger. And, I'd see these like random ant piles and I was like, you know what? I hate my life. I hate that it got ruined. I'm going to ruin their ant pile. And I'd wheel over the ant pile and watch them just scurry and go nuts. And I was like, yeah, it's not just me suffering right now. Like, I went through that whole phase.
Right. I think we all did.
It was one of those things. I mean, we're human. But it depends. I don't really ever see spiders on the ground too much. More so, like, when I was just coming inside earlier, there was this big beetle. And I was like, I don't really want that juice all up in the tread of my wheels. So I did not want the beetle. But if it happens, it happens. Why? Does this guy crush spiders?
I honestly don't know. He just told me to ask you. So I guess that's your answer, buddy. So I guess if I saw one in the house, I probably would try. Spiders don't really bother me as much as bees do. I'm not a big fan of bees. Never really cared for bees myself. Honeybees are fine. They're cool. But like wasps and stuff like that, no. Hey, have a good day, Kira.
But
Joe,
one time, speaking about bees, this wasn't with bees, but similar. I was on a trip and I was newly injured again. It was like a year afterwards. And there was like these mosquitoes, right? There's mosquitoes. And we all know that if you get bit by one of those, it doesn't feel good. So I just saw these mosquitoes and I got paranoid. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what if they're biting me and stuff? And I was like, you know what? Let me go into this place. Let me look in the mirror so I could look at, my legs. I could get a full picture of what's going on down there. And I'm not even kidding. I turned sideways parallel to the mirror and I looked at the back of my calf muscles and there was at least 12 mosquitoes on the back of my legs.
Wow.
Dude, I freaked. And I didn't have a voice at that time. I was, C3 injured. So I did the whole ventilator and trach stuff. And the lung capacity was not there for vocals. So I was mute, like yelling, like, help me. And mom and dad helped. And ever since then, I developed a fear of something like that, just stinging me. Like, that's torture.
Yep. I actually woke up like a week ago with a wasp in my bed. Except some days in the summer, I'll leave my door open for a little bit and they'll make their way in. And the one day, like, I took my blanket off when my helper got here and there was like a wasp crawling on my bed. I'm like, that thing slept with me all damn night. And so I checked myself for like stings and stuff. Luckily I didn't have any, but it could have sucked. And there's nothing we can do. You know what I mean? It is a fear.
You're literally watching happen right in front of you.
Yeah.
Like that is a big thing. That's also a reason why I haven't made the decision to have kids. I'm not going to have kids. That's my personal choice. Fully able to, I'm good to go. You know, everything, you know, could possibly, like, it's all possible. But I was like, you know, it's hard enough with a little dog watching him do something and hurt himself or whatever, and me just like watch it happen, like not able to step in and help, you know. And I'm like, with kids, like, you know, we're rambunctious, no fear, so kids go nuts, and I just don't have the capacity to see something going wrong in front of me and not be able to do something to save it and emotionally and mentally be okay. It would just kill me. It would kill me.
Nope, I feel you 100% on that. Like when my little nephews and nieces are running around and like they're just like they get hurt or something, I can't like pick them up and like help them and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, it's rough.
Or like I always wonder like if my caregiver like starts having a heart attack and I'm not close enough to my phone or something to call for help. Like I don't know, it's just thoughts like that run through your head.
Yeah, like what if all of a sudden my Wi-Fi goes out like you just seen happen, and my phone doesn't hear me say, you know, hey Siri, whatever, then I'd be screwed. Like if I'm not able to use my phone or something
Right.
in his phone. So I don't know. Like my brothers, I have brothers. They both have newborns. One's 4 months, one's a year. So they're gonna be awesome companions. I'm gonna be the cool aunt, gonna hang out and take care of them and love them. But that's about as far as I can go.
Awesome. Is that who was in that picture with you the other day?
Yes. So that was my younger brother's little one that's 4 months, and then the other one next to me was my cousin's little one that's 6 months old. So I had these two things on my lap, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I love you guys so much."
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I love when they ride on my chair. My nephew like sits on my feet pedals and like I drive him around. It's so fun.
Yes.
I'll have to show you my video the other day when he was they were like transferring me into my chair and he was like helping me. He's only like, I think he just turned 2. He was actually trying to like lift me up and stuff. It was adorable.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll show you.
I love kids, how curious they are. My one of my cousins has a son, and when he was 3 and 4, somewhere at that age, 3 or 4, he was like, you know, Melissa, like he was standing there in front of my feet. He's like, Melissa, can we go like run and play? And I was like, you know, Jax, like I'm not able to. Like I told him, I was like, I didn't wear my seatbelt. You know, you got to wear your seatbelt. And I got into a car accident. And so he starts rubbing my legs up and down. And he says, all they need is love. I was like, what?
I love that.
I was like,
I love that so much. Right.
It was adorable. And kids are just so, you know, they're just cute and blunt. And they're like, you know, what's wrong with you? Or how come we can't do this? And you're like, you know what? Let me tell you something. I'll give you a short story.
Yep. There was a girl when I was at the one fair we had. She came up and she was like staring at me for a minute, and she like came up and kicked my legs. She's like, "You're not hurt," because I have both my legs, and she didn't understand. And the mom pulled her away and like yelled at her. I'm like, "It's fine. She doesn't understand." You know what I mean? She's maybe 3 or 4, and I was like, you know, it happens. So some kids just don't understand, you know. And then there's kids like our relatives, like say your nieces or nephews. They grow up seeing this all the time. Then they grow up, they're used to it. You know what I mean? I love that feeling that they're actually used to it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why us that are injured, we have a neat opportunity to not only, you know, help other family members be comfortable and familiar with it, but to just even approach strangers, like even if it's not kids and it's adults that, you know, don't really ask things the right way, or they don't know how to say something and they're using their eyes more than their mouth, and whatever the case may be, you know, we've all had those experiences. I think just approaching it gently and, you know, just understanding that people just don't know. They really just don't know. Just letting them know, like make it an opportunity to, you know, teach them something, educate them, and then let them be comfortable, you know, asking us if we need help. Because there was a time in my life where I was aggravated if people were asking me if I need help, because I'd be, you know, tilted back somewhere, just chilling, doing a weight shift, and somebody thinks, you know, I'm medically, something's wrong, and I'm like, nah, like I'm good. And I got aggravated. But you know what? You know, when I stopped being aggravated was 3 years after my injury. My chest strap was on. I was going for a little walk by myself, Caregiver just got off, but I did not realize that my chest strap was loose. It was not supporting me if something happened. And I did hit a bump in the sidewalk. It made me fly forward because I took my hand off the joystick, stopped too quickly. I went forward and the chest strap was cutting into my diaphragm, but I wasn't enough forward where I was all the way down. It was just where I could not breathe. And I'm telling you, nobody helped me for 45 minutes. I thought I was going to die from not being able to catch my breath, and it was a nightmare. And then finally I heard these tires of a car slow down on the brick road I was next to, and I like lifted my head up just enough to see the reverse lights come on, and after then I just lost it because I knew somebody was coming to help me.
That's
and
cool.
After that, I never complained again about somebody asking me if I need help. Never.
Yeah, there's definitely good people out there that are willing to help. Like, sorry, my air kicked on. Hang on. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but I apologize. So other than painting, do you have any other like therapies that help you just live a better day, like music or anything like that?
Oh, music all the way. Every genre, every era. If it's got a beat, I'm into it. I love music. I love concerts. I love anything. And I even go to some clubs sometimes just to, just feel the music going through me. Like, it's so loud and I just love it. Like, music is a good time. Music is the ultimate therapy. But
yeah, I love the video clips you make with the music in the background. That's awesome. Super motivating.
You gotta have a good time, Tim.
Right.
No matter what people think. Just do what you do, enjoy it. As long as you're not hurting anybody or you're not hurting yourself, there's nothing wrong with living.
Joan asked, what was your dog's name again? Tucker, right? Tucker. And the only way I remember that is telling me what your brother calls him. That's funny.
Yeah, they always change the first letter. Can you see him? Can you see little Tucker?
There he is. He's cool. He reminds me of Ty, another buddy of mine that came on. He has a dog like that. His name's Sushi. What's the breed?
Tucker is Shih Tzu Maltese.
Okay, I think that's exactly what his is. I don't know if Sarah's still watching, but she can answer. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a little dude, and he's perfect size where he fits on my lap. He's big enough to jump up from my foot plate. I've trained him verbally, so we're still working on some things. He's not as smart as my previous dog, but he's still special and he's still loved. And for the most part, he listens, but he has his moments. Definitely has his moments. So.
That's awesome.
My phone says the battery is low now.
Okay, no, that's fine. I was gonna wrap it up anyway, so if there's anything else that anybody has to say, you're more than welcome to say it now. Melissa, thank you so much for coming on and chit chatting with me, and we can do it again sometime if you want, if you're down.
Definitely, let's get something started. I want to thank you, Tim, and everybody that knows this guy and the cool cat that he is. I'm so glad if it took injuries to bring us together. Whatever, dude. Give me all the trials. I enjoyed it. I'm glad to know you. And one day this will be in person instead of through a screen.
Right? That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Melissa, and hopefully you have an awesome day, the rest of your day. Get outside and get some nice sunshine.
Yes, you too, my friend. Bye, everybody.
All right, we'll see you later.
See ya.
Have a good day. That was so awesome. Melissa's cool. What's up, Zach? Phoenix Rivers, what's up? Good to see you. Well, I will wrap it up, guys. I want to say thank you to everyone hanging out in the chat, everybody that had questions. And let me pop her book link up one more time for anybody that just came in. Melissa wrote a book about her story. You guys can check it out. I definitely recommend it. There is Melissa's book. You guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. I appreciate it. You're welcome to share the video if you'd like, if you have the means to do so. And maybe we'll go live tonight. We'll see what happens. But you guys have a good day, and we will see you on the next one. Have a good day, guys.